Yo, what up? It's me, SolarLoon. Hi. But yeah, whoops. Hi, I'm SolarLoon. Oh, I can't do it that way. I have to do it like this. I see. Yeah, okay, understood. Um, I see. Okay, got it. But yeah, hi, I'm SolarLoon. I'm an independent game developer. I'm the creator of Master Plan. I'm the creator of Tetra 3D. And so yeah, here's another stream. How's it going? Hope everyone's doing well. Um, yeah, hi, welcome. So this is a game that I was working on before like June or something, like a few months ago. It's a kind of a walk and talk 3D adventure game where you go around and talk to people. This 3D renderer is written by me. I wrote the 3D renderer from scratch. It's not really, it doesn't really use like OpenGL or um, DirectX or anything like that directly. So all of the vertices are transformed on the CPU, and the triangles are drawn using Abbytingen, which uses GLFW. So it is using, the GPU. It's just not using the GPU in, for 3D. Like I'm doing everything. I'm doing depth textures. I'm doing vertex transformations, all that stuff. So it looks pretty good. If no one told you, you might not even believe that this is not like Unity or Godot or something, which is pretty cool. My workflow is basically to use Blender as my 3D modeler and world editor and stuff like that. And you can see it here once it boots up. This might be the game. Maybe. But yeah, I'm using Blender as a 3D modeler and world editor and all that stuff. And yeah, it might take a little while. Okay, that's not it. Maybe it's this one. Nope. Is it this one? Nope. Is it is it this? Nope. Is it, hold on. We're gonna get there. Is it this one? Yes. Okay. So yeah, this is the game scene. This game scene. Oh, we can do it like this so you can actually see it a little better. This on the right is this game scene. But obviously it's just in Blender. So I'm using Blender as my 3D editor. I'm using Blender as my 3D modeler, of course. And yeah, it works pretty well. So there's some hot reloading. It's not perfect, but you can do things like move characters around like this and re-export, and it should update. Oh well, it saves his last position. So even if I move the player character, it like reloads the scene and puts him back where he was, so that hot reloading doesn't like make me always have to restart from the same place. So anyway, but yeah, there's some hot reloading in there. There's some there's audio. There's the GUI system that I made myself. Really simple GUI system. But yeah, this is overall pretty good, pretty functional, works pretty well, feels pretty good. It's fun. Um, yeah, that's about it. So this stream, I thought it would be kind of interesting because I thought someone was looking to well, in case people are interested who are using Abbytingen, if they're interested in maybe like working with Android, like making an Android project, I thought it would be cool to take a working Android or working Abbytingen game and put it on Android on stream, which shouldn't be too hard. Should be pretty simple actually overall. We'll give that a shot and see if we can do it. So the game that we're going to be working with is, instead of that one, it's going to be this one. On the left hand side, we're going to open this guy, which is a game that I started working with in Abbytingen for the game jam. Didn't finish it, unfortunately. It's just a smidge. It was a smidge too much for me, unfortunately. But basically, it is a 2D jump and run, action game, I guess you could say. Works pretty well. There's some things that aren't perfect. You saw that baseball go through the wall there. So it's not perfect, but overall it's fine. Like there's some things that needs to be fixed, but at the same time it's perfectly fine in terms of it is a game. It is a game. I was trying to get this done in like a week, even though I had 2 weeks. So we're going to try to put this on Android. It should be pretty simple. I've done this before for that previous game you saw. Yeah, it shouldn't be too difficult to do. I think it would be fun to play it on my, on my Retroid Pocket, Retroid Flip 2, which is a Android-based clamshell. There we go. Android-based clamshell gaming console thing, which is this guy. Yeah. I'm just trying to, yeah, but anyway, it's this guy. So it's a cool little device, cool little gaming system, and I think it'd be fun to play this on there. All of the inputs and stuff have already been, you know, kind of like made cross-platform, so to speak. So it should work right out the box in terms of input. So all we got to do is just actually get it to compile an Android project, which should be pretty simple. So we're gonna give it a shot. Let's give it a shot and see how this goes. So step one, let me make a backup here. I'm gonna initialize this repository and just commit everything and say this is an initial commit. There we go. And so the concept is actually pretty simple. It basically just revolves around, and we'll make that a little smaller. Yeah, cool. Oh, can this be, yeah, default, I guess that's fine. It basically revolves around creating an Android project and then just setting up some things to make it work. It's not overall too complicated. It's pretty simple. It's just a matter of doing steps, you know, walking through steps. So as you can see, our basic scene, or I'm sorry, our basic source tree is, you know, kind of, what's the word? Naive, I guess you could say, where the game struct controls, you know, the initialization and update and draw loop of the game. It is in the main.go file. Everything else is in this file, just right in the project root. So it's pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy. But in order for this to work, what I found to be easier is to basically make a package for the game and then make two different kind of shell scripts that build and or run the game for desktop versus Android. And you can actually see that in this folder in the previous, well, actually we can just go over here in the previous project folder. And I'm just going to kind of crib this design where basically we have something that builds the mobile version of the game using Ebuton Mobile, which is a command that builds a Android library essentially of your game, and it tells it where to output it. And I'm going to use a tag, a build tag, to basically build only the mobile elements. So that basically is this. So we want to embed the assets from our, well, it depends on your game. For this game, I'm embedding the assets into the Android executable, but I'm not on desktop because I want the game to be moddable. If your game is not like that, then it doesn't matter. You can just embed all the assets together, which is what we're going to be doing for this other project. Also, I'm sorry, I don't have any music. Let me see if I can get some music going. Let's see, we'll just go with like I'm sorry, it's loud. Sorry it's so loud. I apologize. I was listening to something else. That's fine. We'll go with something kind of chill like this. Yeah, so that's the concept here. It should be pretty simple. So yeah, we're embedding the assets in this other example, in this other project. You can see the package is mobile. And then here the package is main, because for desktop, we want to be able to run the desktop application using run desktop.shell. So we're going to set it up so that we can run it first. and then we're gonna set up the mobile version. So we're gonna move this over so we can kind of compare it. It's pretty simple overall. We're gonna move all of this stuff into a source directory, or I guess we could just call it game. We're just gonna move everything except for the go mod and sum into game. There we go. And we need to make sure that the package name is the same as the folder. We can't rename it there, so we're just gonna say oops, change package main here. We're gonna change it to package game. So this is assets, this is input, script runtime. Oh, this is in the backups directory. I see. I was like, I don't have a script runtime. So we're going to do this. We're going to change this so that we are looking at it as a tree, so that we can easily disallow the backups folder, and we can just focus on the game folder, which is what we were working with. We can then replace all. There we go. So now it's package game. So these are all package game now. Cool. So, oops. So now that we have that working, all we have to do is just basically get it to run, which is as simple, should be as simple, as just making a shell script that does what this does. And creating a desktop build tag. So basically, when we have a build tag, that indicates what files should build. The game contains basically the entire game, right? All of the stuff that we were just using, but the main loop, this part, we're gonna basically pull that out. We're gonna pull that out of the original main.go file and basically put that into desktop main_desktop.go or main_mobile.go. Of course, I think these could be named anything because we are using build tags, so we don't actually have to have it be named like this. But we'll keep it the same. So let's see. So this is, yeah, this can be just called main now. We'll just copy this entirely. We'll just copy that entirely. And we're gonna remove that game reference because we're gonna, the path isn't the same. So when we type game, it should basically see, oh wait, you're talking about the game here in this example in the game gem folder. So we can import it. And so now the asset file system is, well, actually, let me think about this because the assets are embedded. No, they are not embedded. Okay, so the assets by default are loaded like this using basically the base directory, which is fine. What we can do is just move this line that sets the asset file system. We're going to move that out to here, which is basically exactly what this line was doing, was essentially setting the file system to indicate where we want to load the assets from. For mobile, because Android, everything is in an APK, it's easier to just embed the assets rather than using like relative directory, paths and stuff like that. It's just simpler. It might be possible, but it's just easier to set it up so that the assets are directly embedded. Yeah, so let's see here. So let's go to main. So this works. Let's see. So we're going to move this main loop. Hold on, let me see. Okay, we're just going to make this new game like that. So when you run new game, it sets the window resizing mode, which doesn't do anything on Android. It sets the window title, which probably also doesn't do anything on Android. It creates the game object, initializes it, and then calls run game. But we're not going to actually do this because we need to return the game object. Because on desktop, we can run game using ebitin.runGame, but on Android, we call mobile.setGame. So it's a little bit differently. because basically it passes over the update loop from Ebitingen to like the mobile version, you know, for mobile devices. It's the internally it's different basically. So all we have to do, I think, is just, instead of this, we're just going to return global game and make it so that this returns a game instance like that. Yeah, okay, cool. So now over here, we set the asset file system, we create a new game. Oh wait, we're looking for this one. Create an asset, set the asset file system, and then we just, yeah, call that. That should basically be it. That should be essentially all we need to do, hopefully. We're gonna make a run desktop, shell file, which essentially just does this. It just calls go run with the tag being the desktop, with the tags being set to desktop, and the package being essentially just the current folder. This is essentially the same as just calling this, but with tags equals desktop like that, and the dot. So what that does is it runs the files, it builds and runs the files in this folder that have a tag of desktop, which is just this one. But because this imports our game package, it essentially imports the entire game. So all of the source files, and of course, you know, all of the objects and all the code on everything, all the logic and all that stuff. So when we call, oh wait, we also need to change. We also need to change the run desktop shell file to be executable, which we do with chmod to change the permissions of the files that is executable. So now when we run desktop, surprisingly, it works first time. Fantastic. Cool. So now we just do the same thing, but for mobile, which is pretty straightforward. We're just going to copy this, which is essentially we just create another file that is our main loop, except this one has a package set to mobile. There's going to be, this normally would be a problem to have two different files in the same directory with different packages, but because they have different build tags, they don't like conflict. We're going to embed the file system, the assets. So all of these assets are instead embedded, and then we can basically just refer to them the same way that we did on desktop, where we are making a local file system from the current directory. So any attempts to load a file from asset fs loads it from, like if you tried to load a file from game.assetfs, and you say, well, we'll just do it like this. I'll show you. If I do game.assetfs.open and I say assets gfx clouds.png, what this is going to do is it's going to make a file system that essentially starts in the current directory. So this path is resolved to this file. On mobile, we're doing the same thing, but we're embedding the asset directory directly into our executable. So here we just basically say we want to use the game package, which is this guy. This is this package. And we're setting the asset file system, asset fs, to be instead our embedded file system. And so here we're using go embed, that directive, to embed all assets, all files underneath the assets directory. And so you can see it's all : that means every file, like no file specifiers, we're just embedding everything. And then it's basically the assets directory, so everything under here. So that gets run when we compile the executable. It gets embedded into this file system, and then on init we set the file system. We create the new game just like we did in the main desktop file, here. But instead of running it with ebutin.runGame, we use mobile.setGame. And we also need a dummy function, as I recall, from the Ebutin mobile documentation. If you'd like to take a look at that, you can do so under ebutingen.org/en/documents/mobile.html, which is this guy here. So basically, it gives you kind of a rundown of how to do this. It's pretty straightforward. It's not actually too complicated. You just install Ebutin Mobile. You're creating a binding, which is essentially what we did previously, but we created a binding for both mobile and desktop, so that your game is segmented out from desktop or mobile, and then that's that way you can easily run the game on desktop the way that you would run it on mobile. Like compiling it for desktop and compiling it for mobile are essentially the same because they have common entry points. Set game says the minimum Android SDK version. We don't have to set up any environment variables for Mac or Windows because we're on Linux. And then we just call this to bind the game to our project Java path. We get an AAR output, and then we just basically go through the process of creating an Android project, and that's it. So it's pretty straightforward. It's not too complicated. All right, so let's see. So we have this working for the desktop mode. Let's see if this compiles. So this should be build Android, and it's just going to be the same stuff that you saw on the website to bind it to an AAR. Is the same thing here. It's the same. Yeah, build Android, it's fine. So we have Ebutin Mobile, which is a command, an executable that you install with go install, that basically creates mobile executables, mobile libraries. And so we're binding it. Let me do this. We're binding it toward Android, and here's the package. So this package is basically what your project should be called in Android Studio. So for this, we're going to call it Ebutin Game Jam 2025. We're going to output it under this directory, which we're going to create real quick. I'm not sure if we need to. We'll see if we need to. So Android project app libs, and then we'll say egjj2025.aar. Tags is mobile. So that is basically just building, just like we did for this, where we're running just the desktop tag. It's the same thing here, where we're building the mobile tag. See, Ebutin mobile bind, and then tags mobile, and the dot. That dot says everything in this folder that has a tag of mobile, build and bind that to an AAR. And here again, we only have one file, which is this one. But again, just like desktop, because we're importing the game package with all the game code and all that stuff, it should work just fine. Okay, so let's see if this works. We'll probably need to change it as well. See if it crashes out or not. To do this, you probably will need the Android, the Android development kit, which you can get from Android Studio. You can install it. It'll probably tell you which one you need. That page that, there it is, this guy, it said that basically you need Android version 16. So I think as long as you have a version of the build, well, actually, let me take a look, because I feel like I recall something about this. Let me see if I wrote about this. Let's see. Because it should build basically fine for me, because I already did this. Yep, so you saw that there's an issue. It basically built the entire thing, but because... Hold on. because we don't have the directory, it couldn't create the file. So we'll just create that path right now. So Android project, app, libs, and then, yeah, there we go. Okay, so it does not say, I don't say anything about needing specifically. Oh, there it goes. I don't say anything about needing specifically to like import any Android version or any build version, like download it or anything. So you should probably just need to download whatever build version is the latest one from Android Studio. That'll probably work fine. Okay, so that's there. So this built, which is fantastic. I think that might be all we need to do. Let's see. Let me think. Let me make sure gamepad is working real quick. It is not, so that might be a problem. Let's see what's going on there. Well, actually, let's run it again, see if it's... No, okay, so what's going on there? Input. No, it's not there. Is it here? We can call this game now. It's probably the problem. Yep. I just dropped the controller. Okay. Okay, so this is working. Okay, this works. Cool. All right, so now what we're gonna do is just make an Android project. I'm gonna go ahead and dim my screen here because I'm not sure what'll happen. Okay, seems fine. So what we're gonna do is make a simple empty views activity because basically the Ebitingen should create a view. Basically the AAR file should essentially be a view for your game. So we're gonna make an empty views activity. We will name it whatever, Ebitingen Game Jam 2025, but this package name should probably be the same as the one that we set here. So let's go ahead and see what our command was real quick. There it is. So console we're loading. And then we will put this in the correct save location, which I will again dim my screen. Try and get used to that, just in case. Okay, I think that should be fine. We're gonna put it here in the Android project folder. That is just above the libs and app folder, right? App, libs is where we put the EG, basically our AAR. So in app, that libs folder is in app, and that app folder is in the Android project. This base project folder is where we're gonna put it. Language can be Kotlin, that's fine. Minimum at SDK, it should be fine at 24. I think it has to be, again, at least an API version of, I think it was 17. It says the minimum is 16, right? So this one, 4.1. So we'll target, I think the default might have been 24. So I'll just leave it at 24. It says it will run on 98.6% of devices. Okay, we'll put it on 24. And we'll leave the DSL at Kotlin DSL, that's fine. So when we finish, it'll go ahead and download anything it needs to download, which in this case is the SDK platform. I did not know this prior, but that's fine. So it's downloading things. We click on finish. And so this will change to the, this will change to the new thing. Add the files to Git, that is fine. I guess we don't, yeah, that's fine. We can do that. That's sure. We can close this project. There we go. Yeah, that's fine. Well, okay, well, I guess it doesn't like the idea of closing the, oh, maybe it's trying to, here we go. Can I just close? There we go. Okay. All right. So, we're pretty far in now. We're not too far away from it working. So Android development is a little different. I'm not super familiar with it. We can make this smaller. I'm not super familiar with it, but essentially, we can also make this thinner. There we go. Essentially, what? Well, I'm not familiar with Android development, but what you want to do is wait for this thing to finish. So this is going to import a Gradle project. It's going to run Gradle to basically like pull in any dependencies and all that stuff. So we're going to wait for the project sync to finish. But we should already have our libs folder here, and we should already have our AAR folder or AAR file. And so what this involves, I believe, is going to either this or this. I don't remember which it is. It might be this one. I think it's this one. Yeah, you're gonna go to this build Gradle KTS in your Android project app folder, and you're gonna need to add the lib this AAR as a dependency. Again, the Abby-Tingen mobile information says this, I think. Does it say it? Oh, actually, it may not. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay. So this is it's interesting because I'm kind of like going through this blind a little bit. Like I've done this before, but I don't remember. So I'm kind of like just walking through it in terms of theory here. So I'm gonna have the Abby-Tingen mobile page open on the side here. I'll put it on my other monitor. All right, so this should be finishing up roughly. So we're gonna need to put into our dependencies. Is it like files or local? What is it called? Let me see. What is it called over here? This is implementation file tree. Okay. So implementation file tree libs. I think that's it. And so as we do this, and as you can see, it says Gradle files have been changed since the last project sync. Another one may be necessary, so you can choose to sync it. So let me make sure I'm spelling this right. Yeah, file tree has a capital T. There we go. And we also, I guess, need to add, maybe that's not even necessary, but we'll add an artifact here. It might be. I feel like I don't remember this, like doing this specifically, but maybe I'm incorrect. In any case, we will close this. In any case, we're gonna add this. Let's see. There we go. Gotta see the entire project. Go to apps or app libs. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. EGL 2025. Okay, so let's try syncing this and see if that makes this turn from red to normal or not. Cool. So okay, so yeah, now it's autocomplete. Okay, so I guess you could do this through the project structure dialog or in other ways, but I just do it via text because it just feels a little more deterministic, I guess you could say. All right, so that should be good. So if this is working, we're not gonna go super far. We're just gonna go ahead and see if we can get this to run in its current state. So you can do that. You can test that on an emulator by going to this tab, the device manager, and you can add a device. I already have a Pixel emulator, so we're just gonna run this and see if it does indeed run. If it does run, it should basically be like a white screen or something. It should be a relatively simple view. So we'll see if that works. And we can also see, okay, no issues building. I think it's, oh, maybe I didn't click on run, that's why. Okay, so now it's building. There we go. So now you can see it building and it doing everything and how long it's taken, all that stuff. So after this builds, if this builds without issue, which it should build without issue, it should just pop up on the screen. Should be pretty straightforward. No issues because we haven't really changed any code. But then once that works, what we're gonna do is basically just alter the main activity and also the Android manifest. Or no, not the Android manifest, the main activity and the, there it goes. And the, yeah, there it goes. This is a hello world. It's a little small. I think the layout, yeah, I think this guy is what we need to modify. Yeah. So pretty straightforward, not too hard, not too difficult. Cool. So there's a couple, yeah, well, yeah, so. All right, so this is working. That's the main thing. This is working. So what we're gonna do now is a couple things. One is we want to modify the main activity to let me see, do we actually set landscape here, or is it I don't, let me see. I'm trying to see if I'm trying to remember where exactly you set it to be landscape. I don't quite recall. All right, we'll see. We'll see. I don't quite recall offhand. So we'll see if we can do this live. So what we're going to do is we're going to next alter this XML file directly to, we can switch it to text mode here, to basically get rid of the text view object and instead put in the Ebiton view. Which actually automatically, comes in because we basically specified the AAR file, I believe, as being a dependency. So it should automatically pop in, autocomplete. Okay, yeah, the mobile, Ebiton mobile documentation doesn't mention this, and I just got a spam. It feels like I always get spam, like one spam bot on my stream, like an hour in, roughly. Okay, so anyway, back to what we were doing. So we can just probably go with match parent for this. Seems fine. Something like that. Let's see if that is correct. If we go over here, we can go to this guy. Is it this guy? No, it's the... Isn't it this guy? No, it's in the res layout. There we go. Because basically you need to, yeah, okay, it's match parent, and I forgot to make an ID, and I guess it needs to be focusable as well. So we're just gonna copy that. Excuse me. I believe you need an ID so that you can refer to it in your activity code. Yeah, just delete this. I just do that. Okay, that's shorthand, I guess, for it. Yeah, so I guess this is basically just to make it kind of visible in your activity view, main activity. And I just copied it, as far as I understand it, I just copied the ID from the main default and just added Ebiton view. I think this is fine to write it in as whatever, it just has to be unique probably. All right, so now we go back to the main activity. We can rerun this just to make sure that nothing, there's no issues. But this is pretty straightforward from here. We're gonna set SEQ, which I guess basically calls into Go. So you can see it already turned black. So that's good, because that basically means that it's reading the view from the code, I guess. But it's just, there's no view because we haven't started the library. So from the Ebiton mobile documentation, we just call seq.setContext with get application context, or I guess application context because this is Kotlin. And that might be it actually. Roughly. I don't see anything else. Let's see if that works. I feel like there's more to it, even just to get it to work. But let's see if this is it. Hot dog. That's it. Super tiny, but yeah, that's the game. There it is. Okay, so that does work. So there's a couple things we need to do. One is we would like to, because if you saw when it ran, there's bars at the top and bottom. We want it to be full screen. I mean, if you don't want your game to be full screen, then you don't need to do this. But in my case, I don't want this or this. I want to remove that. We can do that by basically doing this, or rather this, which basically and can we get some autocomplete? There we go. Wait, well, it wasn't that, was it? It was, yeah, window insets controller. Window insets controller. There we go. So what this basically means is if you swipe, then it'll show up these bars. But if you don't swipe, it won't show those bars. It will hide the UI, the system UI. That's what it should do. And I'm sorry if it's a little too small. I don't know how to actually zoom in here. Alt Shift dot. Okay, that's fine. This is weird a little bit because this text didn't get bigger, but that's fine. So anyway, this is working, which is really good. That means that essentially we should be able to just build the game. So we're going to go ahead and try that. We're going to build an artifact, which I don't remember how to do. Is it build? Is it generate APKs? Let's see if that what that does and where it puts it. I guess it will put it in build now that you think about it. Is it finished? It looks like it is. Is it in outputs? That might be it. I'm just kind of like maybe, huh? Maybe. Let's see, app. Looks like you can't build from here. So I guess that is correct. I guess that's we're done. Unless we're trying to. Let's see. Let me try this. I'm gonna delete this build directory. So I want to see if I'm trying to build. Yeah, I think that's what we want. But let's try this. I just want to see if does this build or is this like running or something. Oh, it builds. Okay. So then this is our output. Okay. So there's our output. App debug.apk. This is slightly different. So I guess that's what I'm looking for. All right. Well, that is it. I think we're done. Basically, it runs. So what we should be able to do to make this even a little bit nicer, we can actually build and run right from our Android Studio directly to our target device. So I'm going to try that by just plugging in my Pocket Flip 2. I should already be in debug mode from earlier today, or not earlier today, but earlier with, building things. And then we should be able to simply go to run, or rather, I guess we want to go here and, oh, it might not detect our actual device. It's not none of those. I know how to do this, or I know I can do this, but I'm just trying to see. Yeah, it may be. Let me make sure this is on debug mode here. It may not be. Oh, I'm already. Okay, hold on. Is it in system? Yeah, developer options. I feel like it should automatically detect my device, but I don't see it. I don't remember why it doesn't. It doesn't detect it remotely. I know it's plugged in. Okay. Oh, I see. That's what they mean by mirroring. It's probably like it runs on in an emulator as well as your real device at the same time. Okay. Excuse me. Well, I don't want to. Man, how does this work? I don't recall. It should detect my device automatically, but it may not. Why would it not? And I don't remember why. Let's see. I can choose to run, but not here. It's like multiple devices. No. Pair devices using Wi-Fi. Nah, that's not what I'm looking for. All right, we're gonna exit here. It might be just Android Studio being a little weird. I don't recall. I straight up don't recall how this does or doesn't work. Well, I guess let's not get caught up on the non-specifics. All right, let me look it up. Oh, my bad. I didn't have it enabled here, I guess. Yeah, it's just set to charging. Hold on. Let me see. Okay, so I guess this is just not connected. This is odd. I feel like I've done this before, but for whatever reason, it's not working now. Well, sir. Yeah, ADB isn't recognizing my device. Oh, there. Yeah, ADB isn't recognizing my device. Well, well, well. What a problem. Okay, well. I might have to restart my device. Maybe that's part of it. Let's see. All right, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try restarting this because it should detect it, but for whatever reason, it's not detecting it at all. I mean, I can just copy this to the device and then, yeah, install it, but I want to be fancy. But overall, this is pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Not complicated really at all. And we'll see if, hopefully we'll see it work. All right, well, I may not be able to figure it out, which is odd. Am I forgetting something? Why is it not picking up under ADB? Maybe I have to restart my computer? Well, actually, the device itself also isn't showing up. Let's see, if I turn on file transfer, okay, so it does show up there. I wonder if there's something, if there's a reason why it's not working. Because I explicitly enabled it. I'm plugging it in. It says USB debugging is connected. How strange, dude. Real strange. All right, well. Okay. Well, if it's not gonna work, that's fine. No one needs this stupid thing anyway. We can always just install it manually. But this is strange. It might be my computer. I don't think it's the cable. Well, it could be the cable. Let's try. Let's try plugging it in directly. I had it going into a hub. Maybe that's part of the problem. Plug it in directly into the computer. Nah. Could be my computer. Maybe I need to restart it or something. Or maybe I'm lacking a USB driver. Why would I be lacking a USB driver? Nah, that doesn't make sense. Let's see. Okay, so it definitely does detect something. Because I ran LS USB on both before and after. Okay, so it does detect. Here you can see Google Inc. Nexus Pixel device charging and debug. So it detects that it's supposed to have debug. That's weird, dude. It must be a driver thing. I must not have. It's probably something stupid, and I just am not like thinking of it. But it's probably something super basic. Because it's definitely detecting it. It definitely sees the device. It definitely knows it's supposed to be in debug mode. Let me see. Let me try turning off debug mode here. Yeah, okay. And you can see it just resets to MTP. File transfer. MTP. MTP. USB debugging, yes. Charging and debug. I feel like it's supposed to give me like, well, yeah, there's definitely something going on where my computer is not detecting it. Charging plus debug. Okay, well, if it's not working, then I'm going to scream. No, if it's not working, then I'll just have to install it normally for now. And I'll see later if restarting my computer or performing a system update fixes it, because it definitely was working last time I tried this. But anyway, if we go to Android project, oh no, this is the wrong one. If we go to Android project app, build, outputs, APK, debug, there's our game. It's 88 megabytes because we embedded all of these assets. I included like the core renoise sound songs. Well, that's not that big. Why is it so big? Maybe because it's in debug mode. Anyway, what we'll do is we'll install it manually. by simply copying the executable to our SD card and then running the APK. I said executable, copying the APK to our SD card, which I'll do over here. It's weird. Okay. So if this works, then we should. If this works, we should be able to go to Files. Unfortunately, you can't see my screen right now. Downloads. Everything Game Jam. Yeah. Can we install this? Can we open it? It does work. It does work. It does work, which is fantastic, but the buttons do not work. I wonder why. So let's take a look at some things. In truth, we probably can check this to see if it runs here. So I'm going to try running it through the emulator first to see if this does work. But I mean, we got it on the device. That's great. And then in the meantime, while that's booting, let's take a look here to see if there's anything unusual going on. So we have gamepad ID 0. Still loading. Okay, so it's not working with the controller either here. And I imagine we can take a look at logcat to see what it is kind of thinking here. Okay, nothing unusual. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna stop here. We're gonna basically print out what the input of the gamepad 0 is. Well, I guess we could just do it like this. For I 0, I is less than, we'll say 8. Well, actually, hold on. Let me take a look at this mobile thing. Didn't it say something about gamepad controller? I might need to actually add. Let me see. I might have needed to add like some sort of game controller thing here to like give it the okay to use controllers. I'm just looking to see if there is a thing? Isn't there a thing? Isn't there like an okay, isn't there a like XML Android game controller XML permission? Maybe not. Well then, why? Hold on. Oh, maybe this is part of it. Well, do we ever actually use this? I guess, yeah, we do. Okay. That's something I forgot to do. I guess if the game pauses or resumes, then we need to pause and resume the view, which we do definitely want to have just in case. I see, okay. Alright, so every10 view is from the AAR file, right? Yeah. I think so. Okay, well that's important. We have to do that according to the mobile documentation. We're setting the context. Doing that. Let's see, is there anything else I'm missing? Hold on. What? Oh, that's the emulator. Okay. I was like, what happened? Why is that working now? Okay. Is there anything I'm missing? Let's see. I don't think so. Although maybe, hold on. Maybe I'm missing something here. New game, set game. I don't think the game itself is any different, right? Update still happens. Oh, wait, maybe it's, whoops. Maybe it's something else. Hold on. I wonder if okay, I am calling new game. So it does this. It does initialize the game. Okay, cool. All right, let's do what I was gonna do and basically check to see if any of the gamepads work. Okay. So what this should do is basically if I press the first button, then you can see it become true here, which is A on this 8-bit controller. So if I press 0, if I press A, then 0 becomes true. If I had another controller, then if I press the first button on that controller, then 1 would be true. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, we're just gonna go over here and rebuild this. Oh wait, actually, I forgot. We need to also run, we need to build for the Android AAR file. But once that is built, then we can go ahead and run, build it in the emulator, build and run it in the emulator, and see if it's giving us the same result. Because it could be that there's something fishy going on. Am I not updating the input manager? I am here. Is there something else somewhere else? It's running, so it feels like everything should be working properly. Let's see. Okay, so let's take a look at the logcat. Okay, so now we have this gamepad printing here. None of them are true. So update is being called, but none of the gamepad values. Either it's not being passed through. Why wouldn't it work? This is quite interesting. This is a lot more interesting than I thought it would be. Yeah, 0 is not doing anything. Okay. What we're gonna do let's close that. Why would gamepad not work on Android? What could I be missing? Let me take a look at something real quick. Because it definitely works. Like, it definitely works in general. Let's see. It could be a SDK issue. Let's take a look at that. Or I guess it's this one. These are about the same. Target SDK is different. JVM target is the same. This is the same between both. These are the same. Okay. It's probably the same. This should be about the same. Yep. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I might need to these are the same, although the target API is set here and it's not here. I don't think that's an issue. Let me actually take a look at this. These are the same. Focusable. Okay, set on both. Constraint. All right. And like everything seems about the same. So I wonder why it doesn't work. Let's change the content view application context. Oh no. That's the same. View compat. Array. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is interesting. It could be This is so interesting. I'm not sure what the issue could be, because it feels like everything should be about the same. Why would gamepad support not work? Oh. Do this after the game loop starts so gamepad polling works properly. wait. So let me make sure I understand. So well, it might just be that the emulator doesn't support gamepads. That's possible. Okay, let's work under the assumption that maybe the emulator just doesn't support gamepads. So we're just going to do something like this. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. There we go. All right, so we will call init manually. Like so. There we go. We'll try this. Initialize equals true. I have initialize, call initialize. So when we create a new one, it doesn't call init here. We call it from update. The reason why I think, well, I think that the Ebitengen's gamepad code only runs within the game loop. So I think that that's what I was referring to. But this should work. The way I was doing it should work. Well, I guess it's possible. It's well. Let's. Well, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Let's just try this and see if it. Well, I guess we can just try running it on desktop first. See if that works. It does not. There's an issue. Oh, I see why. Right. Because, right, so we want to. I really would just say g-initialized. Okay, so this works. Let's see if it works. This is interesting. I feel like this shouldn't solve the problem. Well, there's two possibilities. One is that this gamepad isn't index 0 on this device. It's actually index 1. I set it to 0. It's not detecting anything. And it doesn't work. And then also, the emulator doesn't support gamepads. Both of those could be true. So let's try this. I wish I had ADB, dude. I don't know why I don't. That's the weirdest thing. It's just not there. Okay. All right. So I think we're good to try this again. Let's try running it, and let's try. Well, once it's done running, we'll try building it. Not working, but yeah, this may not support gamepads. on an emulator. So let's try it on the actual device. We will build, I guess. Did it build? Let's delete this just so I know that if it is building. Okay, cool. All right, let's try this. I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna work. It probably won't, but it's possible it will. Maybe it will. Oops, I'm looking for this guy. And this is the new one, right? 646, yeah, okay. Okay, let's try this. It works. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that it works. Sorry that I don't have a 1080p. Sorry that I have such a poor webcam and that it's like 20 FPS. It's just garbage, dude. I got this for like $100, maybe like 7 years ago, like right when webcams were like, you know, 4K 60 FPS was like coming around, and it was like $200 or $300. I probably got this maybe at the beginning of beginning of COVID, like 2020. So like maybe it was around there. So like if I waited a year, it probably would have been like 4K 60, but that's life. Anyway, so this works. This works. I'm shocked, and now I can play this at 60 FPS on the go. And it works exactly as, it works exactly as I would like it to. It's beautiful. It controls good. It runs good. It's exactly correct, dude. Oh, dude, this is beautiful on the screen too. A little darker than my monitor there. You can't see what I'm doing, man. This is so cool. This is what Android needs, bro. This is what more Android. There needs to be more normal games on Android. Like there needs to be more solid, just console or a professional level, games. Not to say that this is like, crazy good. It's just this is a normal game. Like I'm playing. Oh, this is so cool, dude. It feels so good. It feels like just homebrew at its finest, brother. It's so good. And because this is ARM, it sips battery, dude. It's fantastic. I'm so like happy with this. I think the dead zone is a little tight. Ooh, and you can even go portrait mode. Hit him portrait if you wanted to. This is so cool, dude. This is so cool. Something that's weird is that when you it crashed, I think. Something that's weird, I think it crashed. So I didn't close it. Something that's kind of weird is that when you switch from landscape, you can hear the fan too. That's so cool. You can hear the fan from the device. But when you switch from landscape to portrait, it like restarts the game. So I'm not sure what I need to do about that. And there goes, it crashed. Okay, so there's probably something that I need to do. But overall, I'm really happy with this. And if I got ADB up and running, I can look at logcat to see like why is it crashing, and disallow portrait mode. I don't need logcat for that, but that's something else I need to do. But this is cool. This works, and this is exactly what I am looking for out of. Android games, brother. Like, why am I the only guy looking to make like real games on Android, man? Like, it's crazy how yeah, I don't know why it keeps doing that. It's crazy how or maybe it's a memory leak. I don't know. I gotta take a look and see what might be going on. But it's crazy how like Android is probably like the best handheld gaming operating system in terms of, not necessarily in terms of the core technologies involved. I'm not talking about like making games on Android specifically, but just like we did today, where we have a game that runs on Ebitin, Ebitingen or some other cross-platform mobile-friendly framework, and we port it to Android in an hour, and it's running really well. The approachability of Android is so cool because it's like, man, it's an open platform. People can install their own variants of Android, so they can work with a privacy focused one, or one that has no like shovelware in it, or something like I can't remember the name of them right now, but like the Android open source project operating systems or whatever. And in terms of a handheld, you can get a handheld like this that's runs on Android, and it's lightweight, and it's not as lightweight as it could be, but it's lighter weight than the Steam Deck by a dramatic amount. It has all of your game controls that you would want, right? Analog triggers, shoulder buttons, A, B, X, Y, 2 analog sticks, D-pad. That feels pretty good. Start and select, a back button, a power button, volume buttons, headphone out. Like, this is a cool device. This is just one of many, right? This isn't like the only Android device on the market. You have, I think, accelerometer, you have vibration. It's got Wi-Fi, it's got Bluetooth. It's such a cool device, and it's only a couple $100. And it's like, man, why are there so few developers making games for Android devices? I understand, it's just like, well, the players aren't there, right? Your primary target audience for people who buy something like this, you're talking about people who play emulated games. But this is such a good device, and this is not the only one like this. There's other devices that run Android, and Android, of course, is a good platform for both homebrew and independent game development, because it's very approachable, it's very well documented, even if it's maybe not the best technologically. I know different people have their feelings about it, but it's kind of like a standard platform that many different game development frameworks can target. It's open. Many devices, most people have a lot of devices that run Android. If you've ever had an old phone or an old whatever, or of course a new handheld like this, it's cool. You can get into it, and you can make such unique games. It feels like it's primed for a game jam. That's how I felt about the Steam Deck. That's how I feel about the Steam Deck too. Is like, it's a great device, and yet it feels like no one really is targeting it outside of just making normal games for it. And it's like, yeah, you can make normal games for it, but I'm looking for the DS style, like, unique experiences that are really like made for this thing, as opposed to something like, just an ordinary game ported to the Steam Deck or ported to this. I would appreciate that even more for this, because Android games are so like mobile pilled, whereas it's like, it's got to have like in-app transactions, it's got to have ads, and it's like, just let me buy the $10 game. Some developers and publishers are working on that. I think Playdigis is one, where they're basically like taking popular indie games and porting them to Android with gamepad controls, which is fantastic. So some people are interested, some publishers are interested. So hopefully that changes to give more of a focus on those kinds of premium experiences, or just not really premium, but just normal experiences. And with more indie developers making stuff for devices like this, it would be cool to have unique experiences where you have a game that, is kind of made for this device. And this is a crazy good device. The Retroid Pocket Flip 2 is, in my opinion, extremely good in terms of like build quality, in terms of shape, in terms of, weight. It's a little heavier than I feel like I would like it to be, but it's not heavy. It's just, it feels like it could have been, slightly lighter, maybe 15% lighter, 10% lighter. Like the Steam Deck is like heavy. It's noticeably heavy. It's not poorly weighted. It's comfortable to hold. But in terms of like, is it absolutely heavy? It's like, yes, it is. It could be half the weight. And that would be a fantastic improvement. This feels like it's much lighter compared to the Steam Deck, but it's still is a little bit chunky on the bottom. It's a little bit heavy compared to, I feel like, what it could be, like a DS. It feels like not the original DS, but the DSi is what I'm thinking of, and the 3DS. It feels like they, as I recall, were a little lighter than this, but this is still nice. It's still a nice pocketable, comfortable device with a nice bright, I think, OLED 1080p screen. It's cool, and it's unfortunate that people might buy this and just look at it for emulation, and it's like, that's a shame because this is actually, like, these have gotten good. These devices for primarily for emulation have gotten to the stage where it's like, well, you could just play normal games on this. This isn't a throwaway device. This is, it feels solid. It looks good. It feels comfortable enough for how pocketable it is for its size. It's interesting. It feels good. I don't know. I like it. So I would like to make games for this, for Android, specifically to just have something to play on this thing. Because it's like, yeah, emulation, yeah, Android games, but there needs to be more gamepad focused Android games. And maybe if there were enough, and there were people who played them enough, then maybe Google would add a gamepad filter to their Play Store, so you can actually focus on, controller first Android devices, Android games. Anyway, yeah, I guess maybe there's a reason why they don't do that. It's not just because people don't use it, but because that, like, kind of makes people feel like they have to have a game pad to play Android games, which makes people buy games less if they feel like they have to have a gamepad. Maybe it's something like that, where they're like, no gamepad, even though they know people, some people have like attachable gamepads, or they just are using a device that has a gamepad, that has controllers built in to their Android device. But they're like, no, if we add that kind of a filter, that would make people feel like if you want to play games, you have to have a gamepad. So maybe that's what it is. In any case, I'm surprised we solved it. I guess fundamentally the core takeaway is that if you are making a game with Evitension, and you are targeting something like this, the Retroid Pocket Flip 2, then you want to basically loop through and try to find which of these gamepad IDs is valid. Essentially, which one has a layout. So it might be the first one, might be the second one, should be, I would imagine it's index 0, but maybe it's index 1 or 2 or something. Why? I don't know, but maybe that's what it is, and that's why it works. Oh. No, because the poll, I don't think that should matter. Yeah. You know what? I don't know. I'm not sure if, well, let's figure it out. Let's see. I'm going to try this. I just want to see if, because I do want to know the truth here. I'm going to try this and see if this works, because I want to know. And this has been a pretty comprehensive guide toward getting a game up and running on an Android device, and I don't want to end it with a, well, who knows, kind of a question. So we're going to try this where we just set the gamepad ID back to be 0. and then we're just going to build it over here. I guess that's fine. And cool. Native libs. Okay, that's what it is. This is probably the thing that is new. Yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna go over here and put it actually on our thing and see if it works. If it doesn't work, then that means that it is on another ID. If it does work, that means that we just needed to run the init function after update starts, which I don't know why that would matter, because none of this stuff should need, like, whether it runs in outside of the Ebiton mobile game loop or not, it should still work, but we'll see. Okay, so right, so we want to go to here and put it on. Put it on our SD card. It's weird, it's oddly larger. Still not showing up in ADB. Okay. Let's try installing it. Okay, it still works. So that means that it just needs to be executed here. Whoops. I'm not sure what's going on there. It just needs to be executed, and it needs to be executed outside. I'm sorry, inside the loop. It can't be executed out here. It has to be executed from essentially after the loop starts. So now the question becomes why. So let me take a look here. Okay, so we're making it in an action set. We have that. We're defining an action set, which is a set of actions. Keyboard is here, gamepad is here, button action is here, ID is 0. That works. Okay. Right. All right. So this poll. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure why this needs to be run in the main loop. Why? Because I'm thinking like, okay, if it's outside the main loop, let's say it couldn't define anything on the input manager, and instead of panicking, it just silently failed. Obviously, that shouldn't happen because it's a static. You know, if input manager didn't exist, for example, or if, you know, for whatever reason, it couldn't do any of this stuff, it should crash. But like, even if it, like, none of this should not work. The poll function isn't even used until update calls. So I'm not sure why this is necessary. I understand why this only works inside the update loop, but I don't know why this works inside the update loop and not otherwise. Oh. No. Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to say it might be because these constants are set to Ebiton's constants here, and maybe they only are set on mobile dynamically after the game starts. So maybe these aren't set statically. Like on Linux, on desktop, these are set just, you know, constants, but maybe in mobile, these are only set to values when like you launch into mobile, which might make sense, because on Android, like maybe gamepads are supported on Android and not on iOS, or vice versa. Well, I know that they work on Android, but maybe that was not the case historically. So maybe Ebitin dynamically loads these constants for the mobile platform, like once the game runs. So if you try to set this, in this case Xbox D-pad right, which is actually Ebitin standard gamepad button left right, so the right button of the left cluster, so that would be D-pad right, maybe that is only set after the update loop begins. That's my only guess, because otherwise I'm like, none of this, you know, like if this doesn't exist, it doesn't matter, because the gamepad, like if it doesn't exist, it doesn't matter, because the update loop would be able to just keep polling for the inputs from gamepad, you know, gamepad ID 0. So that must be what it is. I'm gonna guess that that's probably what it is. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Okay, I'm gonna assume that. I'm gonna also follow up with the creator of Ebitin and just ask, just to confirm, because I kind of feel like that might be it. Is gamepad button press reports whether the game concurrent save. It doesn't say anything about mobile. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about mobile. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about mobile specifically, but I'm going to assume that these aren't set until mobile is initialized. At least that's what it seems like. Anyway, I'm happy with this outcome. To be able to play the game on my Retroid Pocket Flip 2 is dope. And it feels so smooth, and it looks so good. It's like perfect 60 FPS. It is a beautiful game. Playing it like this is interesting, because you can't see what I'm doing, but like holding one button, I literally can't hit this shot. There we go. Holding a button like X and then pressing A and B to jump with both characters is kind of hard. It's a little easier to do on this controller. So that implies obviously that maybe I should not do that. Maybe I should figure out a control system where you're not maybe the triggers attack with each character, R2 and L2. So A and B jumps left and right, and then R2 and L2 attacks left and right. That could work. Or maybe R1 and L1 jump and R2 and L2 attack. Oh, that would be weird. Well, you can always rebind the keys. Anyway, I'm happy with this outcome again. So thank you very much for watching. It's been real. Yeah. Let me try this real quick. I want to. Okay. So yeah, rather than A and B to jump left and right, well, A and B, A and X to jump and attack primary, B and Y to jump and attack secondary. Maybe I could do A and B to jump like right and left and the triggers. That feels like it could work. Let's try that. Because I feel like on this device, it's just not going to work as well. So let's see what this would feel like. So player 1 jump should be B, I guess, because he's on the right. Didn't I? Okay, I did. And then we're going to say new gamepad. Button. ID. We'll use the bumpers, I guess. So C and D, X and S. C and D, right bumper, left bumper. And then this will be trigger. That direction will be 1. And we will also make the dead zone far heavier. Okay. Oh, it's a button. Okay, my bad. I didn't know that. It allows buttons. There we go. Let's try that. There we go. Now I gotta fix up slashing. It's weird, but it's not undoable. It's not undoable. It's definitely works. It's odd. I feel like the buttons. Yeah, you gotta have a more of a like that. There we go. It's like galloping. It's so weird, dude. I said this last time, but it's a weird, fun control scheme. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Switch. To switch. Okay. Oh, I could make Y switch with this. Yeah, I can make Y switch. Okay, that works. Oh, this is interesting, dude. This is interesting. So this can just be Y. This is an interesting system. That feels a lot better. Ow. This feels a lot more intuitive, I think. What? Oh, my controller probably disconnected. There it goes. I don't know why it disconnects. There we go. That's sick. This are sick. It's weird, dude. It feels good. It feels unique. It feels like a skill. It feels intuitive. It doesn't feel too crazy. Man, this could actually go crazy, man. Dead Zone's a lot better. All the enemies respawn when I leave the scene. That's fine for now. I was just trying to get it working. Whoops. Just trying to get it working at all. I could also do a thing where like they each have a health bar, and when either of them die, then you have to like lug around the like KO'd partner. That would be interesting. If you like moved slower or something. Like it would have to be like maybe you like have to like rev up your movement so you still have the ability to make the same jumps. They're just harder because you like accelerate much more slowly. But you still have like the same top speed. Maybe the same thing for jumping is like you jump slower, but you also still jump the same height. You just jump slower. Or maybe there's like a lag when you jump. Kind of similar to Mario and Luigi, actually, Superstar Saga. That would be interesting if it was like kind of laggy. So you had to like bring him to a place to like res him. That would turn it into an actual game mechanic, as opposed to just being like you share health bars, which is already enough of a reason to not like miss your jumps, but it would turn missing your jumps into a more of an actual it's so weird, dude. It's so weird. Yeah, it would turn missing your jumps into more of an actual, like, problem, I guess you could say. Anyway, this is really cool. I'm happy with this. I never figured out quite, like, how to handle falling off stage. Like, you losing health and your partner coming back to you, or you dying, you losing health. Like, I don't quite know how to handle it. I mean, like, I guess the screen could just scroll with your character. But, like, how do you solve an issue where, like, your partner falls off the screen? Like, you can't see him, so you can't avoid whatever he's walking into. Does he just not take damage if he's not on screen? I guess that's fine. I guess you could just... But then you could... Well, I guess if you switch in the air, maybe it doesn't transfer who's in focus. Like, if the swordsman has the focus and he switches in the air, he will have the focus until he hits the ground. That way, if someone falls off, it's still the partner character. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how to handle it. But I feel like this is actually peak. Oh no. Yeah, so I'd still gotta figure out like quite how to handle it. Both characters having their own health bar could actually go crazy. Anyway, this is actually cool. I'm happy with this. I'm pretty happy with this. I think it's actually... Let's see, why does it seem like it? Okay. I'm really happy with this, yeah. I think it works really well. Bam. I think it works pretty well. I think it feels good. I think it works, you know, it works well. I'm happy with it. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching. Ivan Solarloon. It's been real. It's been fun getting a game running on Android. nice and simple, pretty simple overall. Just some minor things. I'm gonna check into that issue with the constants. I'm wondering about that. Because we set this, yeah. Because this is set probably at compile time, no? Okay, let's. I'm gonna check something real quick because I'm still curious. I want to know more about what could be the issue. So I'm gonna just print out everything.standard gamepad button center, rather left top, and I'm gonna print out xbox.dpad up because these are the same value, right? Left top, yeah. So we're gonna do this and this, and we're gonna do right bottom and A, because this should be, oops, right bottom, D-pad A, right bottom, yeah, okay. We will build for Android, and then we'll see when we run it on the emulator, because I'm curious. I need to know. Oh wait, actually we can also do this. Say these are in it, and we'll do the same thing from main mobile. All right, let's try that, because I'm still curious. I need to know where exactly this is coming from. Shouldn't take long. Just should take a couple seconds here. So we're building for Android. Once it's done, okay, we should be able to go over here and then just run the app. Look at logcat. Okay, so from main mobile 12.12.00 and from init 12.12.00. So then why doesn't it work? If the constants are the same, it must not be gamepad 0. It has to be gamepad like 1 or something. There's no way to test that without ADB, unfortunately. It's still not working. Whoops. Because this does not support gamepads, right? Nah. It barely supports keyboard. Okay. All right, well, that's fine. We'll call it there. Unless, hold on. Hardware input. Okay, so it does support it. You just have to enable it. Okay. Does it support anything else? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to assume this does not support. Okay, so I'm going to go with the concept, with the theory that gamepad, it's just not gamepad 0. That's just what it is. This is not gamepad 0. This is gamepad 1 or something. yeah, that's what I'm gonna. That's what I'm gonna have to go with. Because I don't have any means to examine logcat. I mean, I could probably just like get logcat manually, but I'm not trying to get like super deep into it. Says the guy who got super deep into it. Oops. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, thank you very much for watching. It's been real. It's been a lot of fun. I'll catch you guys on the flip side next time. This will be Friday. We'll see if we can get some more stuff done. Hopefully I can get master plan out. I know I've been saying that for like a month and a half, 2 months, like it's right there. But it is right there. I just have other work to do, and just other things have been coming up for the past like 4 weeks, the past 5 weeks. But I mean, I am gonna get it out. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. Master plan is super close to being done. The next update is super close to being done. Just need a little bit more time. So thank you very much for watching. It's been real. I'll catch you guys on the flip side next time with some more game development and stuff. Thanks for watching. Yeah. See ya.